Hi, I'm Jeff McCoy with 21 Country Market. We're proud to be in our 21st year of serving Jackson County and the surrounding communities. For all your fuel, food, and hardware needs, visit one of the 21 Country Market family of stores where it's always fast, friendly, and helpful. For more information, visit 21country.com.
On. There's more and more tape of you out there. Teams are getting a good look at what you're doing offensively and defensively. And quite simply, Jeff, our opponents have packed the paint and tried to take Luke, Brady, and Joey out of the ball game. And quite honestly, they've done a nice job of it for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and we talked about it early in the season, when we weren't making outside shots consistently. Coach Mullins has changed up the lineup a few games, trying to get more scoring power from out in the perimeter, so the opponent's guards couldn't slough back into the paint and deny the ball to our bigs. But we just haven't been consistent in shooting the ball. We haven't been consistent in entry passes, and way too many turnovers.
Yeah, averaging just a shade over 16 coming in. But Jeff, Ravenswood in town tonight should get the juices flowing. A win would be huge confidence boost for this team at a time that they really needed.
Yeah, and just the opposite of the spectrum, Coach Mick Price has his Red Devils playing some of the best basketball they've played all season. We saw them early in the year. We kind of laid an egg over there and lose by 5 in the pit, which is not a easy place to play, as you well know, but still a game that was winnable. Got in foul trouble, didn't get the inside scoring that we were relying on in that ball game, and come out of there with a loss. This Ravenswood team is not the same team. They are much better. Coach Price, as we all know, is just a phenomenal basketball coach, along with just a excellent person. And he's got these kids doing it his way. They have created a culture over there as Mick Price being the head coach. They don't change a whole lot. If they need somebody to shoot from the perimeter, he gets out there and finds him one and tells the kid, you come in here and you shoot 1,000 shots a day, you're going to play some basketball for us because we're going to rely on the three. He tells some guys that are, average or a little above average in the post, you go in there and bang and beat and hold and push and get me rebounds, you're going to play basketball. And those kids just go out and go to work for him. Brian Canterbury, longtime assistant, also does a great job with these kids. And these kids love him, and they play hard for him. And that's the culture that we have got to create over here with Derek Mullins and the Vikings.
Coach Mullins trying to find a spark tonight. He's shaking the lineup up a little bit. And one thing about it, something's going to happen. Virgil Myers plugged into the starting lineup tonight. Something's going to happen, Jeff, when Virgil Myers is on the floor. You can count on that.
It might be good, it might be bad, but it's going to be something, and you said it right. He is Mr. Excitement. He is very quick. He can get up and down the floor. He can beat you off the bounce. You lay off of him, he can knock down threes. Let's just hope that the moment doesn't overwhelm him. We saw him. He did play one quarter of JV ball, and that's a good idea just to get him a little relaxed. He was wound up tighter than a banjo string out there in the JV game. Didn't look like the Virgil we're used to seeing, especially under that type of competition, but hopefully it's got him calmed down a little bit. I saw the kids in warm-ups really urging him on, so hopefully he'll have a big game tonight.
Jeff, over in Ravenswood back in December, Matthew Cart was an issue for the Vikings. He scored 23 points, 6 of 9 shooting, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. I expect we're going to see some Joey Ramsey on him tonight.
Yeah, Cart's a junior, a good athlete. Just watching him in warm-ups, he can get above the rim. He can shoot the basketball. Pretty good player out there, and I think that was the unexpected over there. We didn't expect him to have that type of performance. Well, we knew about Hunt. We knew about Miller. We knew about, the guys they had coming back and what type of players they were, and I think Cart kind of surprised us.
You look at the way they played as well, Jeff. They shot 54% from the floor while doing most of their damage in the paint. That shouldn't happen with our size, but you got to credit Coach McPrice. What a game plan he had, drawing our bigs out on the perimeter to defend, and that was a real problem for us. How do we adjust tonight?
Well, we can't play Matador defense, and just kind of swing them by. We have had a problem with our on-ball defense here of late. We haven't been able to stop the penetration, which creates all kinds of problems inside against good teams. And this team is very disciplined. They will try to get their feet in the paint and beat you. And then once they get you off the mark, then they'll fire the three. Miller and others battle inside, and we just can't let them get offensive boards. We've got to grab the boards on each end of the floor. We've got to take care of the basketball.
The Vikings averaged 16.5 turnovers per game. They had 18 in the last matchup with Ravenswood. They were +1 on the glass, which is a number that was not very impressive with our size advantage. A -4 in the turnover margin compared to Ravenswood. Those numbers must improve tonight, or the result is going to be similar to what it was in December.
Yeah, and the turnovers, Brian, so many of them, as we have talked about all year long, are live ball turnovers, and they're turnovers where they're not really putting a whole lot of pressure on us. We're just throwing the ball to a bad spot. And, good friend of ours, Bruce Gossett, and I were talking before the game, sometimes players think just because you throw it in there and it hits them in the hands, it's their fault. Well, what are you going to do with it when you catch it? Are they in a position to score it, or are you throwing them into trouble? And we have had a tendency to throw our posts and others into trouble, getting them on the floor in a position where they shouldn't be handling it, those type of things. We got to eliminate that stuff for sure, and as you said, control the boards.
You hear Coach Mullins talk about it, basketball IQ, something that they've worked on throughout the season at an extensive rate, but it's things like not picking your dribble up when you're against a boundary and you have nowhere to go with the ball. Be cognizant of how long you have to get across half court. Just simple things like that. We have to improve if we want to win here tonight and move on in the postseason.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit in the junior varsity game. And you expect those kids to be have a little less knowledge of the game when they're out there. But we're up 3 points with under a minute to go, and we're shooting the ball. And not great shots either, hope shots. We can't do that at this level. Our basketball IQ has got to be right at the top of the charts for this game and the remainder of our season if we want to advance in postseason.
All right, Jeff, we'll step out when we return. We'll have the starting lineups in tonight's opening tip here from the Health Center. You've been listening to the WVU Medicine Jackson General Hospital's Countdown to Tip-Off right here on C98, The Bull.
Vikings. At this time, we invite you to stand if you can and remove your caps as we honor America with our national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose rush stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare of bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We welcome the fans from Ravenswood. Here is the starting lineup for your Red Devils. Wearing number 2, junior Matthew Park.
Number 5, a sophomore, Bo Bennett. Number 12, sophomore, Logan Alfred. Number 23, junior Drew Hunt. Number 33, senior Ashton Miller. And the rest of the Red Devils, coached by Mick Price, Brian Canterbury, and Andy Wise. And now the starting lineup for your Vikings. A sophomore guard, number 23, a sophomore in the post, number 22, Brady Anderson. A sophomore guard, number 20, Virgil Myers. A junior guard, number 11, Isaiah Casto. A junior in the post, number 1, Luke Johnson. And the rest of the Vikings, coached by Derek Mullins, Jamison Hunt, and Steve Hunt.
As always, thank you, Mike Rubin, for tonight's starting lineups. The best in the business at what he does. We're so fortunate to have that man behind the mic at Ripley High School for another season. The Vikings and the Devils squaring off. Vikings have won 8 of the last 10. Devils have the advantage here as winning the previous matchup. The Vikings in their home white, gray numerals, gray lettering trimmed in blue. Devils in their road black, red lettering and red piping outlined in white. Vikings moving right to left from our broadcast point. Here at the Health Center, ball's in the air, and the tip is controlled by the Devils. Alfred corrals it off the cart. Now back to Bennett between the circles. And got over and back.
Backcourt, Virgil applying pressure early and often here already, and a turnover for the Red Devils.
So a turn of events here. Typically it's the Vikings turning it over early in the ball game. Devils giving it back to us here, and their little token three-quarter court pressure. Isaiah Casto will bring it across the timeline. Left-hand dribble up the near side. Drew Hunt guarding him man-to-man at the elbow. Off to Brady Anderson, drives into the paint, layup good.
And boy, that's good to see. As the Red Devils trying to slough off, Brady gets it, lowers that left shoulder, gets right to the front of the rim, lays it in.
So good at putting the ball on the deck for a big guy. Finishing. Now Cart. He's going to be the focus of the Viking defense tonight. He loses the handle. Isaiah Casto ties it up, and another Ravenswood turnover. And poor start here for the Devils, not what Coach Mick Price had in mind, and an opportunity for the Vikings to grab a 2-possession lead here in the early going.
And not getting that tip benefited the Vikings on that possession.
Isaiah with a tight dribble and an offensive foul, a moving screen called on the Viking big man, his first, team's first.
Wow. And you know, Brian, I watch a lot of college basketball because I love it so much. And you don't need to make contact there to get that screen. If you watch the big men, they're rolling before that ever gets there, and it creates space. And you don't have to take that hit.
The passer or the dribbler as well can sometimes get that offensive foul on the screener if he gets there too quickly. Ravenswood throws it in the backcourt, another turnover. That's 3 consecutive possessions, 3 turnovers by the Red Devils.
Good pressure applied by the Vikings, and it has created some havoc for the Devils. Now let's see if the Vikings can take care of the ball on their end.
Virgil Myers will inbound it far sideline into Casto. He'll walk it across the timeline, angling near side toward the Viking head in the middle of the floor, and they'll reset. 6:45 to go first quarter, 2-0 Vikings here in the early going. Brady Anderson with it, top circle, near corner, Casto fakes a 3, down on the block they go to Johnson. Ball is turned over and stolen. Here come the Red Devils, Cart passing it off to Alfred, lays it up and in.
And you know, they are really good about muscling up in the post, and Luke has not shown the ability to really take a push or a hit inside all year long, and he's just got to get stabilized in there, catch that pass, put it up strong.
He has Alfred guarding him now. They float it down the block to Brady. Brady shot up on Miller, no good. Miller corrals the rebound, and a foul is going to be called. That's Virgil.
Yeah, and you know, Virgil is so sneaky, and we've seen him many times. A defensive rebound, and he'll go stick his nose right in there and try to strip it. He did that time, gets called for the hold.
1 minute, actually 2 minutes gone here at the Health Center. 2-2, slow start, both teams offensively. Here at the Health Center, 2-2, slow start, both teams offensively. Miller will walk it across the time stripe, angling toward the far side. Turns it over, Cade Good with the steal. In transition, right-hand layup, good.
Nice defensive overplay again by the Vikings, leads to the easy layup for Good.
Vikings back on top by a deuce. 4-2, Cart all the way to the basket. Floater up and in over the big man. Kick and flat, score it, Jeff.
He's right-handed, and he never even attempted to go left.
Here's Isaiah Casto into the front court. Drew Hunt riding him all the way down the floor, and they're going to call him for the personal foul. They're calling it tight here early in the early going, Jeff. We'll see how that pans itself out as the game wears on. Isaiah Casto will inbound it left of his basket.
Coach Price won the arm by Isaiah. Evidently, he hadn't seen his point guards dribble it up. And that's just Mick. He'll work an official all night.
You don't win 700 games by not working an official a little bit. Good in the corner to Myers. Myers down the block to Johnson. Spins into the paint, double team. Turns, lays it up, bouncing around and in.
He's saying they're too little, but let's don't talk too soon, because they are going to continue to body him up all night long.
He went 3-on-1 that time and was able to finish. Vikings back on top by a bucket. Hunt, nice move baseline.
Carried the ball.
He got away with the carry. Now in the corner, they go to Bennett. He forces a 3 in the corner. No good. Brady Anderson, strong rebound. He clears it. Here comes Virgil Myers across the timeline, passing off to Isaiah Casto. Down on the block, they go to Luke. 1-on-1 against Miller. Back to Anderson, and Anderson is going to be fouled on the shot. Those two guys, when they're in sync with each other, Jeff, they play great basketball. When two big guys can pass in the block to each other the way they do.
And that's going to be called on Cart. His first, team second.
32nd timeout by the Ravenswood bench. Vikings lead it 6-4. Brady Anderson going to the line. And Jeff, 3 of 4 shooting so far for the Vikings, and only 2 turnovers. So that's a good start for us.
Yeah, we've done a good job. as far as being patient in the offensive set, it's no surprise where we want to go with the basketball. With the lineup we have out there, Cade Good, basically the only one with any varsity experience that probably has the confidence to fire it up from three-point range or inside. As far as jump shooters, we're going to go in the post. We've got an advantage in there, and we've attacked that and done a really good job. Only one miscue thus far inside in the post.
Brady goes to the line. He is shooting 56% from the line this season. Vikings, this has been a bugaboo for them all season long. That one looked really good. Vikings up 7-4 now as Anderson with 3 points here in the early going. 4:38 remaining first quarter. Big guy makes it a 4-point Viking advantage.
Confident stroke by Brady that time.
8-4. Vikings lead it. Here comes Cart angling near side. Good guarding him.
Didn't say anything about that arm bar by Cart, is he?
Here's Miller with it in the paint, reversing it near side. 3 from Bennett. Short. Bounces in.
Can't leave him. We found that out over at Ravenswood. He will put a dagger in your heart.
That one a favorable bounce. Virgil with 3 near corner. Got it. Virgil Myers.
No conscious. He just plays the game, and I love it.
Give Isaiah Casto the assist. Vikings back out by 4 as they answer the 3 from Bennett.
There's another steal.
Another overplay from Good. Left hand steal. Takes it up. Misses. Virgil with the rebound. Passes back to Luke. Ball deflected into the hands of Good. Strong take. Can't finish. Wow. A lot of contact. And no call a moment ago.
And that's where the part of the game that Luke this summer has to really work. I'd get a jugs gun and I'd be firing passes at him, and he would learn to have soft hands. We have thrown a lot of good passes with him. Now he is moving, which makes it a very difficult catch. But if he catches that thing in his chest, he's going to tear that rim down. And he's got to just cleanly catch that thing.
Joey Ramsey into the ball game. Brady Anderson will get a quick break.
Sean Banks into the game also.
Banks in there as well. As the Devils.
And there's another turnover if we can get it.
Joey and the Vikings get a timeout. That is a favorable call. Joey didn't have possession for long with that basketball. But a 30-second timeout for the Vikings, leading it 11-7 in the defensive pressure. Jeff has ratcheted up here for the Vikings.
And Cade Good is really giving Matthew Cart some fits out there with his own ball defense. You know, I've been on Cade a little bit this year because every now and then he gets to play Mama Skunk, Baby Skunk, and following the cutter instead of getting in front of the cutter and making him go somewhere else. Tonight, he's up in the chest of Cart, and he's giving him some trouble on the ball. Good job.
He has done a fantastic job to this point.
And he got a haircut.
He did. He got cleaned up a little bit. So we got here, Cart's off the floor. Into the ball game is Alfred. He's in there with Banks, Bennett, Alfred, Miller, and Bell for the Devils. Ramsey down the block to Johnson. Goes up strong, and he's going to be fouled by Alfred, I believe, on the offside.
And a great pass by Joey Ramsey. Threw it to the corner of the backboard where only Luke could go get it. Great job by Luke of going and getting it, catching it in one motion, going up with the shot and drawing the foul.
Big man. He's got a nice touch from the free throw line. He's shooting 70% coming into tonight. Makes the first. 12-7 the score. Brady coming to the scores table. He will probably check in here if Luke makes this one. And he misses it so he can stay in the game. And I don't blame him. Ashton Miller clears the rebound. Here comes Banks into the front court, loses the handle out of bounds. Another turnover for the Red Devils.
And a lot of pressure by Isaiah Casto. Borderline push foul, but no call. And great job by the Viking point guard of getting down and cutting Banks off, causing the turnover.
Drew Hunt back in. Matthew Cart, hockey substitution. He checks back in. They're just running off the bench here tonight. 3:15. Everybody's excited to be playing here at the Health Center this evening. 12-7. The Vikings lead it. 3:10 remaining first quarter. Here comes Casto across the timeline. Banks hounding him into the front court. Myers now left wing. Foul line extended off to Anderson, top circle. Back to Good. Ramsey swings it far side to Casto. Back to Ramsey, right of the circle. Now Myers gets a screen. Down to Ramsey. Nice screen and roll from Anderson to Ramsey. Contact, no call. Wow. Rebounded by Bell, and he'll get the bucket in transition. A great pass, or ball, excuse me, a great pass from Drew Hunt. 12-9 the score.
Joey looking for contact down there on the other end. And a lot of pushing and shoving going on. Coach Price once again wanting the push off on Isaiah. He might have got away with one, but it's happening on both ends.
That was a touch foul. And there was a lot of contact under the basket. That's what gets these games out of hand when you're not quite that consistent with your whistle. Casto to Anderson. Shot up, blocked by Banks. Rebounded by Ball. Red Devils quickly. Baseline.
And Hunt loses it on the baseline. So the Vikings are creating a bunch of turnovers. We just can't seem to score down here and extend this lead beyond the 12-9 score that it is right now with 2 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the first period.
With the Ravenswood turnovers, Jeff, they're hanging right in there. The Vikings have had a chance to put some space between them, but have not been able to capitalize on the 5 Ravenswood turnovers here in the first quarter, and a great flop job by Brady Anderson. He pops up with a grin on his face.
And there's a fullback linebacker that ain't going down with that kind of contact. So good job of drawing the foul. That's the 15th foul now on the Devils.
Coach Krzyzewski would have been proud of that one. That looked like a Duke Blue Devil flopping to the floor over there.
But Jay Billis wouldn't have.
Here's Cade Good, top circle. He'll dribble, get a screen from Anderson. Nice take to the basket. He glides in to finish. 4 points for Cade Good.
And he got by and he left the floor early and elevated and made a beautiful shot gliding in, as you said.
14-9, and there's a
Miller walks.
Ashton Miller drags the pivot foot as Dylan Casto will check in now for Virgil Ramsey, Virgil Myers. I'll get it right. Virgil with some great minutes. And now the sniper, the sharpshooter, Dylan Casto in the ball game. They go to Casto, back to Casto, top circle. Isaiah, that is. He'll dribble it right of the circle. Now back near side to Good. 1:22, clock turning. 14-9, Vikings lead it. Hand off to Dylan Casto, off the curl, elbow jumper.
Banks are open in Ripley tonight, partner. As Dylan comes off that curl, pulls up at the elbow, and did a great job.
Cade Good is unfortunately going to pick up his second foul. And it looked like the ball handler just lost his footing when he stepped on Cade's foot. And they're going to call that on Cade. And he is playing some good basketball. He'll have to sit for the rest of the half, most likely. The Vikings lead at 16-9.
That was a real tough call right there, partner.
Here's Banks into the front court. Virgil hounding Cart. Drew Hunt with it. Gets caught on the switch with Anderson. Now back to Banks. Banks through the lane. Back out to Ball. Ball back to Banks. Turn it over. Luke steals it.
Here come the Vikings on the fly.
Dylan Casto in transition for 3. Too strong. Luke goes high for the rebound. Can't get it. Ball out of there with it.
Here come the running Red Devils with Cart.
Cart into the paint. Triple teamed, and he's going to be fouled. With 34.1 seconds to go here in the first quarter. 16-9, the Vikings lead it. And that's going to be another foul on Virgil. It's his second. So the Viking backcourt picking up some fouls as Cart cans the first one. Virgil will have to come back out. Joey Ramsey will come in. One defensive specialist out, another one checking in. Cart back to the line. Second one. Short. Cleared by Luke Johnson.
30 seconds. Vikings just going to take a little bit of time here and see if they can either go in up at the end of one, up 6 or more.
Not much defense provided here. They're going to sit back in the paint and let the clock run. Isaiah Casto with it.
I'd like to see Dillon get to an overload space where, here we go.
9 seconds, clock turning. Back to Brady. Head and shoulders fake into the paint, loses the handle. Banks with a steal. Here comes Banks, three-pointer. Banks it in. As time expires here in the first quarter, turnover turns into 3 points for the Red Devils and some momentum as they head to the second period. The Vikings lead it 16-13 here at the Health Center. More Viking basketball after this, right here on C98, The Bull. High school. Big finish there for the Devils to end the first quarter. 9 turnovers, Jeff, and they're right there in the thick of it, even after a sloppy start. And the Vikings clinging to a 3-point lead. Cart reverses it back out to Bennett. Bennett back to Cart. Head and shoulders fake, guarded by Joey Ramsey. Nowhere to go. Back to Banks. He'll penetrate now. Kick it to Alfred, far corner. Reverses it back to Cart. Cart drives to the free throw line. Little discard there. No call. And bounces it in. Use the off arm that time to clear some space.
Coach Mullins giving the official the same treatment that Coach Price has been giving that same official.
If they're not going to call it, keep doing it. I mean, you know, that's been the lesson all season long. If they're going to let you play physical, you got to bring the physicality right back to them. And the Vikings get it down the block to Luke, and he lays it up and in. That's easy money, Jeff, if the Vikings can take advantage of it. Back to 3.
Great job of running the short corner that time, finding Anderson down inside, and he quickly got the ball in a triangle position where Luke could catch it and lay it in.
Joey with the steal. Down to Anderson again, short corner. Back to Isaiah Casto, top circle. Now down the block to Brady. Back to Isaiah. Joey. Far corner baseline to Johnson. Back to Joey, right wing, and they'll reset it as Isaiah has it left of the circle. Back to Brady. He'll shoot a baseline jumper from about 18. No good. Cart with the rebound.
Here comes Cart on the fly as Joey Ramsey chasing. Finally gets back.
Cart looking for space. Now to Miller. Near corner, Bennett 3. Off the top of the backboard. Cleared by Anderson. 18-15 the score. 6:10 remaining here in the first quarter. Isaiah will walk it across the time stripe. Ravenswood packing that zone in. Isaiah penetrates, reverses to Brady. Brady pulls up, shot up and in.
And a good job by Brady that time of gathering himself and putting up a good shot.
20-15. Banks forcing the Vikings' hand, penetrating, reversing it to Miller, top circle. Back to Bennett, right wing, guarded by Casto. Back to Cart, head and shoulders fake. Gets to the left elbow, fadeaway jumper, air ball, rebounded by Isaiah Casto. And here come the Vikings with a 5-point lead with 5.5 to go here in the first half. This is good pass to Brady, cuts through in the paint, little right hand jump hook, no good. Miller clears it.
He's got to take that one more and get an angle.
Here's Banks forcing the issue again. Foul is called on the floor from the trail official. And that's going to be on Isaiah. That'll be Isaiah Casto's first. Wow, they're giving him the shot.
They gave him
giving him the
NBA.
basket.
Yeah, they gave him NBA. That's what Coach Mullins is just asking. You mean you get 2 steps after you pick up the dribble? Can we do that too?
Wow, he misses it. It's going to be rebounded by Dylan Casto. So a 2017 your score now. 5 minutes and 3 seconds, clock turning first half. Joey Ramsey straight away, 3 on the way. Go! In and out. That ball was down in the cylinder and popped out.
Carry.
Cleared by Cart, and the carry is going to be called on Sean Banks.
Good call by Jamison Hunt over there on the bench as he got the officials' attention. There's no point guard that knows what carrying the ball is. Wow.
Out of the ball game comes Joey, and checking back in is Cade Good with his 2 fouls.
Cade's got to be very, very careful as he's still drawing the assignment, it looks like, on Cart.
Back to Anderson, top circle, down to Johnson, left-hand jump hook, good. All night,
He
Jeff.
can use that left hand, got himself in a good position again, and lays it in. I think he's already probably approached what he did over in Ravenswood, scoring-wise.
The movement across the lane, he gets a block there on Cart. Cart clears his own rebound, back out to Hunt, he buries the 3.
Can't leave their set shooters. You got to make them catch it, put it on the floor, and move them off their spots.
22-20, 4:10 remaining. The movement across the lane is freeing up Luke offensively, and the movement by the Vikings offensively is getting him some easy buckets that they haven't been doing here of late. Isaiah Castro with the left wing, and an offensive foul is going to be called on Brady Anderson, I believe.
Yeah, Brady got a little frustrated as he came across the middle, was grabbed and pushed and didn't get the call, and I think the retaliation, he's telling Alfred about it on the other end.
That's his first. And the Vikings 7th. Ravenswood's going to be shooting the rest of the way. Banks, right elbow, picks up his dribble off to Hunt. Back to Miller. Miller back to Banks. He penetrates. Draws 3 Vikings. Now reverses it out to Alfred. Alfred out of the corner to the left elbow. Back out top to Hunt. 3:35. He penetrates. Miller thinks about a 3. Pulls up for a 10-footer and buries it. Big man showing some touch and ability to put the ball on the floor. And we're tied at 22 as Dylan Casto, high-arcing 3, short, cleared by Miller.
And they were able to get out and recover.
Vikings fall
And the
asleep.
Vikings fall asleep on the defensive end.
24-22. Devils lead it, their first lead of the night. Dylan Casto will come out. Virgil Myers will come back in. 24-22, your score.
This is not a game for the faint of heart, and this is not a game for someone to be on the floor and be watching, because both teams will run right by you and score it.
11-6 quarters so far in favor of the Red Devils. Here's Virgil, top circle. Banks guarding him in the near corner to Good. Good, trying to get it down the block, throws it away.
And that entry pass is just not going to get there when they're fronting. Now, you might get it to Luke, but you're not going to get it into Brady. And there's a foolish foul on a jump shooter. Never, ever foul the jump shooter.
And that's going to be 2 on Brady Anderson as the fouls just mount up on the Vikings.
Cart over there having a little conversation with some of the Vikings in the student section. Official comes over as he gave a little wave to him, if you know what I mean.
So into the ball game comes Joey. Out will go Brady Anderson. 25-22 the score. Cart with 6. That one in and out. Luke clears the rebound.
And Brian, you know, we haven't all year seen this from the Vikings. It's something that I think our post guys, they just don't sit down, you know, and give a real good target. They're standing really tall, and you get to a point where you can't move one way or the other on that entry pass.
Casto to Ramsey, back to Casto, left of the circle, down on the block. Try to enter it to Johnson, and stolen again by Miller. Using his quickness. Now to Hunt, to Banks. He'll penetrate. Walks with it, no call. Ball on the floor. Gathers it back in. Isaiah Casto deflected that one.
Here's a carry.
Virgil hounding Cart over there. Miller now, right wing, off to Banks, right of the circle. Head and shoulders fake, picks up his dribble, back to Miller. Miller left-hand dribble, now to Hunt, left wing, foul line extended, far corner to Banks. Swing it back out top to Alfred. He'll penetrate on Ramsey, and a reach foul is going to be called on Joey with 1:32 to go here in the first half.
And Joey is too good an athlete to do that reach. He was going to recover and cut him off, and he doesn't need to do that. He just needs to get to that spot, and he can certainly do that. 18 fouls now on the Vikings.
First foul on Joey. It's 9 team fouls now as they put the tally up. 5 on the Devils. Alfred buries the first one. He has 3 points. 26-22 the score. Poor finish to this quarter for the Vikings. Alfred 1 out of 2, and then Ashton Miller gets the offensive rebound. Off to Banks. He'll shoot a 3. Too strong. Luke clears it. Vikings dodge a bullet there. Quickly into the front court, Ramsey. Off to Luke at the free throw line. He'll pull up for the jumper. Got it.
If he can do that consistently, it opens up a world of offense for the Vikings.
Back to a 2-point advantage for the Devils. 1:08 to go, first half rather. Miller looking for space, off to Hunt. Near corner to Alfred. He'll dribble it back out to Cart between the circles. Go to work on Ramsey. Double team, walks with it, no call. Off to Banks. Banks trying to clear space, pushes off, no call. Now Miller. Both coaches complaining, asking for the arm bar on the ball handler as Banks has it back. Back to Miller. They're going to hold for the final shot, it appears. 35 seconds to go. As Virgil and Banks now going at it out near the time stripe. Alfred, back to Miller.
The fans made it sound like he broke Virgil's ankles. Virgil was going for the steal and just lost his footing.
Yeah, they're looking for something to get excited about in a 26-24 game right now. And Virgil picks up a cheap one with 11.9 seconds to go.
And that's not one that we need at 30 feet from the basket. And that's just inexperience at this level.
Especially when it's his third.
Yeah, he just can't put himself in that position. There's no need.
So Banks will go to the free throw line with a chance to make it a 2-possession game. Back irons the first one. Dylan Casto will check in for Virgil.
Plenty of time on the clock for the Vikings to go down, get a good shot.
Got to make sure we get this rebound as we've given up a couple of offensive rebounds on misses at the free throw line. Banks rolls that one in. Banks will come out. Bo Bennett will check in. 11.9 to go. Dylan Casto will inbound. Vikings have to go the full length of the court here. Into Good.
Gotta go.
Good on Hunt. Up the near side. 7 seconds.
6.
Left-hand dribble. Good double teamed, and a foul is going to be called with 3 seconds remaining.
It's going to be on Hunt.
It's going to be on Drew Hunt. That's his second, team 6th.
There's only one play in the playbook now underneath. Lob it up to the front of the rim where only number 1 can go get it.
We've done that a few times this year.
He's got to position himself to make that happen.
Isaiah, nowhere to go. Joey, 3 seconds. Vikings turn it over. Banks at the buzzer, over the backboard, and the Vikings are going to trail here as we go to the halftime break. Here at the Health Center, 27-24. We'll return with the Johnson Insurance Agency halftime report after this, right here on C98, The Bull.
Hi, I'm Jeff McCoy with 21 Country Market. We're proud to be in our 21st year of serving Jackson County and the surrounding communities. For all your fuel, food, and hardware needs, visit one of the 21 Country Market family of stores where it's always fast, friendly, and helpful. For more information, visit 21country.com.
struggled to get going offensively in that second period. You mentioned it in the break. We always seem to have a dud quarter. Hopefully, the 14-8 was our dud quarter. The one the other night was 22-6 when we fell to Williamstown last night. So hopefully that is our dud quarter tonight, but really struggled offensively.
We had a 31-14 against Scott in the second period down there. So, yeah, for some reason, now a lot of that was the players that we had on the floor because of foul trouble. I mean, Cade had to go to the bench. You had Brady that went to the bench late in that quarter. You had Virgil Myers, who was doing a great job both offensively and defensively for the Vikings, that went to the bench with 3. Luke picked up a silly one, but on that high screen. But other than that, he's in good shape. So, you know, we weathered that storm. They didn't really extend it out to a point where, you know, we're down almost double digits here at the half. It's a one-possession game. So the Vikings will get the ball to start the third period of play. Hopefully, Coach Mullins and the coaches Hunt in the locker room will come out with something set right off the bat to get us on the board quickly and jump right back in this.
That tells me how much time you spent in the library. I mean, even when we were on a basketball court, you were always thinking about your academics, right?
It was only to visit somebody. It wasn't to study, that's for sure.
You look at this game, Jeff, and turnovers have been an issue all season long. 16.5 turnovers for the Vikings per game coming in. They only have 7 tonight, which Coach Mullins can live with. He would like to see it around 5 or 6. Ravenswood with 11, and they still have the lead, and that is because they're whipping us on the glass. They're +5 on the glass, and they're shooting 67%. They're 7 of 9 inside the arc, 3 of 6 outside the arc, 10 of 15 in that first half. Luckily for us, they're shooting 4 of 9 from the line. Otherwise, this deficit would be a little more than it is now.
Yeah, and I think we come out a little bit tentative in the first half inside, trying not to pick up some cheap fouls, and we give them some really lightly contested shots in the paint. I mean, we're there, we get a hand up, but we're not really aggressively going out and trying to contest the shots. So hopefully second half we can get on the boards and stop Ravenswood from getting additional shot opportunities. The Vikings themselves on the offensive end, we're having way too many one-and-dones when we shoot it up. But I tell you, Brian, Ravenswood looks to push all the time. They look to attack, especially with Matthew Cart. He has one thing in mind when he gets it, and that's get it in his feet in the paint and either score it or kick it out to somebody wide open for a 3, whether it be Hunt or whether it be Bo Bennett. So very well coached basketball team. No surprises. They're going to do just what they do. Mick Price has done this for years and years and years, and it hasn't changed.
You look at the big guys for the Vikings. Luke Johnson with 9, 4 of 4 shooting, only 4 shot attempts, to me is unfathomable. He needs to be in the 10, 12 range per half shot attempts. You look at Brady, only 6 shot attempts for him. He's 2 of 6 from the floor with 6 points. 4 combined rebounds between those two guys and 15 points. That's why we trail in this ball game. That is the strength of our team, and we're unable to take advantage of that advantage, I guess you would say, in the block that we have tonight. Again, Ravenswood, a very good game plan and trying to close those guys down as best they can.
Yeah, and I was just getting ready to ask you a question. You answered the question. Okay, you got your big guy, 4 for 4. What's he not doing enough of? Shooting. Not getting the ball in a position to score it. And we've got to have that. I mean, that's our game unless our kids can start knocking down some of those three-point shots. So far, I think Virgil's the only one that's knocked down a 3 for the Vikings in this game. And Ravenswood playing a very aggressive man-to-man. Really getting out on our shooters like Dylan when he's in the game. They've seen film.
Right.
And Coach Price and Coach Canterbury remind their players constantly when a shooter comes in the game. So Again, we're going to have to knock down some of those. It will open up the middle. They're triple teaming Brady and Luke anytime they can.
All right, Jeff, we'll step out when we return. We'll see if the Vikings can make the adjustments necessary to get back in the win column here tonight against cross-county rival Ravenswood. You've been listening to the Johnson Insurance Agency Halftime Report right here on C98 The Bull. Vikings come up empty. And Devils back on the other end. Ashton Miller after the rebound. 27-24. They have a three-point lead. Alfred with it. Back out top to Hunt. Far wing to Miller. Back to Alfred, top circle. Near wing to Hunt. They move the ball around the top circle now as they'll back it out. Bennett will reset the offense.
Gary.
He did it twice, and they finally called the second one. It is.
He let it rest in his palm.
Turnover number 12 for the Red Devils.
Questioning the call, but pretty obvious from our vantage point.
So
the Vikings need a bucket in the worst way.
Isaiah and the Vikings back into the front court from our left to right from our broadcast position here at the Health Center. Isaiah dribbling up the far sideline, gets a screen from Brady, backs it out, reverses, spin move into the paint, ton of contact, no call. Rebound cleared by Cart, and here he comes in transition. Good, a nice job cutting off the drive. He reverses to Bennett, three on the way, no good. Brady clears the rebound, high for it. And a reach is going to be called on the Devils.
Let's see who that's on. Might have been Miller.
That's going to be on Alfred. That's going to be his second, team's first here in the second half.
And I would love to see the Vikings, as long as the Devils are going to stay in this defense with Alfred guarding Johnson, just go two-man game one side, lob it up, and let him go over him.
Isaiah Casto into the front court, puts it on the deck, loses the handle, gathers it back in the far corner, back top circle, left of the circle to Johnson. He'll pick up his dribble now. Back left wing to Casto. Casto to Anderson. Anderson will step into thought he was going to step into a long two. Now passes it off to Virgil. Virgil back to Isaiah. Good in the far corner, and the Vikings patiently trying to get it down the block to Luke. Shot is blocked. Out of bounds was Alfred. Good defensive play.
But did you see where the ball went as soon as it hit him? He brought it down to his waist. He just got to keep that above his head. They can do nothing but foul him.
Off the inbound, shot won't go, and it's out of bounds off the Red Devils. Vikings just as cold as can be, as they've missed so many of these close 1- and 2-footers the last couple of weeks. Continuing here tonight. As Good has it in the far corner. He's guarded by Bennett, and they'll bring it back out to Casto. Off to Myers, back to Casto, and they'll reset the offense. 5:50 to go. Third period, still no score. Here in the third, 27-24. Isaiah thought about a three. And a foul is going to be called on Matthew Cart. He picks up his second.
They switched up, and Alfred got off of Johnson. Cart picked him up, and Luke tried to dive to the rim, and Cart just grabbed him.
Good off the curl, has his shot blocked. Rebounded by Cart. Ashton Miller with the block. Now Hunt has it down in the paint. Shot won't go. Rebound cleared by Cade Good.
Nobody scored almost 3 minutes into the third period.
Good with it. Back to Anderson. The dribble handoff to Good. Thought about a three. Now penetrates into the paint. Charge. Be called for the offensive foul, and it certainly was. And that's 3 on Cade Good, his first, or the team's first here in the second half.
And Cade's got to learn when he comes off that. And we've seen him do that a lot this year. He dribbles himself into the defense. That's an 8-footer for him, which I would give him the green light to shoot that one all night long.
He's going to make it 7 out of 10 times, most likely. 5 minutes. Still no score here in the third. Cart will break that scoreless drought as he lays it up and in.
And you saw what Coach Price did. He posts up whoever Cade Good's guarding, takes it right at him. Good is not going to pick up that fourth foul. Easy layup.
Isaiah, great pass down the block to Brady, and a foul on Miller, and a hard foul. That'll be Miller's first, team's third, and Brady will go to the free throw line. Vikings trailing by 5.
And what made that possible? Penetration, getting your feet in the paint. They had to come help. He was able to deliver a good pass to Brady, and all Miller could do was either foul him or let him lay it in.
Anderson to the free throw line, the right-hander. He's 2 for 2 tonight, make it 2 of 3. Back irons the first.
3 team fouls on the Devils. The Vikings just need to keep attacking, try to get in that bonus as quickly as possible.
Second one, no good. Big rebound by Luke. He'll take it
They're
back
going to
up.
call offensive foul, and that's a terrible call. Big flop. Luke hasn't knocked anybody down in this game, and then you call that.
Miller is known for that. They've scouted that. Coach Mullins talks about it, and he sold it there beautifully, did Ashton Miller, as he picks up foul number 2 on Luke Johnson.
Miller's a senior.
Miller turns it over, stolen back by Luke.
And you're right, and they got to get Virgil in the offensive game. I mean, in a junior varsity game, he just takes it over and goes by, and he'll go by Bo if they just give him the ball.
Foul is going to be called. A hold is going to be on Drew Hunt. That's his third. Now Dylan Casto is going to check into the ball game with 4:15.
And I think the coaching staff saw that too. If Virgil's not going to be aggressive on the offensive end, you got to get a shooter in there.
Banks will check in for Hunt. We'll see if Dylan can get the Viking offense going. Still scoreless here in the third. They have scored 8 points since the first quarter. A 16-point first quarter, and they've gone cold since. Luke, triple team, turns around, right-hand jump hook, good. He's 5 of 5.
And do you see what Alfred does? Luke turned, and he immediately started pushing into him. He made the shot, but boy, it was a tougher than it should have been.
3-point Ravenswood lead. Here's Miller. Luke goes for the steal. puts a shoulder into Cade Good's back. No call. He lays it up and in, 31-26. 3:38, clock turning, third period. Down the block they go to Anderson. Anderson, double team, shot up, no good. Tap back in.
And there's the Luke Johnson we want to see in this game. He immediately bolted to the rim from the high post, anticipating the miss by Brady, and was there to tip it in.
He leads all scorers with 13. He now has 6 rebounds tonight as well, averaging 11 rebounds coming into the ball game. Banks with it, left wing, guarded by Dylan Casto. Back to Bennett, far wing. Back to Banks between the circles. He'll dribble it back out and reset. 3:05 remaining third period, 31-28. Far corner to Alfred. Alfred to Miller. Down the block they go to Cart. Cart double team. Tied up, loses the handle. Brady Anderson fighting for it, and
they're going to call a foul on Brady.
Loose ball, and Brady's going to be called for the personal. That is a tough whistle. That's going to be his third.
Brady Anderson, 14.
As Ramsey and Virgil Myers check in for the Vikings. Vikings going very small now, Brian, with Joey Ramsey being the big man on the floor, going to guard Miller.
Basically have 4 guards out there for the Vikings. They try to attack what Coach Price is doing to him. Back, strong take, lays it up and in.
And we don't need to switch on that. I mean, it's not a hard cut. He just keeps dribbling the ball, and we switch, and we give him a step when we do that.
33-28, he has 10. Ramsey in the corner to Isaiah Casto, near corner. Baseline drive, up and under, lays it up, can't go, but he's going to be fouled. I think he was going to go the opposite side and decided at the last minute to take it up on the near side of the rim, and he was fouled and couldn't finish.
And, you know, the good thing that he did there that probably got him the call, he went up strong with 2 hands. And the only way they could get him stopped was to knock him to the floor.
That's on Alfred, his third, team's 5th. And the Vikings free throw woes continue. Alfred out, ball in.
So 3 fouls on Alfred. Isaiah misses the first. Boy, these free throws, Brian, are so crucial in games like this.
That one in. 4-point Ravenswood advantage, 2:22 to go here in the third. Ball with it, baseline, near side. Back to Miller, Banks, right of the circle. Hands off to Bennett. Now back to Miller. He'll drive on Isaiah. Reverses to Bennett. Back to Bell. Bell spin move in the paint. Off to Banks, left wing. He'll drive. Up, and a travel is going to be called, and it's the right call. He was fouled, Jeff, but he walked before he was fouled.
Yeah, and you see what Coach Price did. He immediately inserted ball into the game. That now they have 2 bigs, and we had to pick our poison. We had Isaiah on Miller, and I thought Miller was going to just try to force his way into the basket.
A little chess match here going on between cross-county rivals. 1:50 to go in the third. Joey nearly turned it over. Back to Isaiah. Isaiah gets a screen from Joey. Now he goes in the far corner to Virgil. Virgil turns it over. Here comes Banks in transition for an uncontested lay-in.
And that is a play that he gets by with at the junior varsity level. But did you see Ravenswood collapse in the paint when he got by the first defender? There were 3 Devils there that he dribbled into. You just got to see that.
35-29 floater from Isaiah, can't go. Good rebound by Virgil as he goes high to snatch that one out of the air, and Good gets a baseline jumper to fall, and the Vikings pull back to within 4. Coach Mullins wants to talk some defense. He'll take a full timeout. We'll take one, 1:08 remaining here in the third period. 35-31, Ravenswood leads it. More Viking basketball after this on C98, The Bull. locking that down, and he's a 3-level scorer. And when he gets it going, he can score in bunches, and we need him right now.
Most teams don't come on that pump fake mid-range jumper. They look for you to drive it all the way and charge, and they love doing that flop, and the refs love calling that charge. But when he does that, he's really dangerous, and he's a good shooter from 15 feet.
The Vikings trying to get another stop and try to draw back to within one possession as we tip under a minute remaining here in the third. Here's Bennett. His shot blocked by Virgil Myers. Came out of nowhere to block that one into the stands.
51 seconds, Coach Price pointing up to the clock, telling them to get a good shot up for him. But Virgil, as you said, athletic.
What
on display.
Wow. Great play by Virgil. He looked like he was blocking an extra point or a field goal. You remember how many of those he blocked during football season? He pulled that one out of the air. 40 seconds. Nearly got a steal into the hands of Cart. 35 seconds. 35-31 the score. They go to Banks, far corner, baseline drive. Nearly turned over. Joey nearly stole it away from Bell. Bell, strong grip on it, pulls it back in, back to Banks. Banks back to Cart. Now Miller, near wing. Now Bennett. They're going to yo-yo back and forth. 15 seconds. Vikings trapping the basketball on the wings. Banks picks up his dribble, back to Cart, 6 seconds. He's double teamed, 4. He'll shoot a tough elbow jumper, no good. Isaiah with the rebound, 3/4 court shot, no good. And the Vikings are going to go to the fourth quarter trailing by 4 here at the Health Center. More Viking and Red Devil basketball coming at you after this, right here on C98 Bull. Campus of Ripley High School, cross county rival Red Devils with a 4-point leader of the Vikings as we go to the fourth. 35-31, and it's winning time, Jeff, as the coaches would like to say. Who's going to step up and make the plays down the stretch?
Cart holding off. Cade good inside.
Miller cut off. Back to Alfred, into the paint, jump stop. Reverse back to Miller, ball deflected by Luke. Into the hands of Miller. He'll hand it off to Bennett, no reset. 7:30 remaining in the ball game. Alfred near corner. Back to Miller. Back to Alfred. He'll think about a 3. Thinks better of it. Back to Miller. Dribbling across the circle. Fakes the handoff to Hunt. Now in the far corner, picks up his dribble. Hunt with it. Back to Cart. Shot clock would be nice in West Virginia high school basketball, and that ball deflected out of bounds.
A lot of time, big runoff, and it's time for Virgil to get up into Bo Bennett a little bit. He's a little shaky off the bounce.
This is typically when you get a turnover, though. Hunt gets a look at a 3, cans it. Drew Hunt.
Eventually, the defense will break down.
Back to a 7-point Ravenswood lead, 38-31, 6:48 to go. Vikings need to get some offense and find it quickly. Isaiah, beautiful move in the paint with a good finish. Off the spin, back to 5-point game.
I think Isaiah's cramping up.
You're going to see more of that slow down style out of the Red Devils, I would imagine, as they want to run as much clock as possible. Alfred turns it over. Here's Good with the steal. End-to-end right-hand layup. Good.
And we've got an injured down here. Isaiah has a calf that looks like a fist balled up, and he needs some assistance. What effort, what strength by that kid just to hang out there on the floor and defend with anybody's ever had one? I have them in the middle of the night sometimes. It just kills you. But
Don't admit that. You're admitting your age there.
Oh, well, I guarantee it. That's what happens when you get old, Brian. You'll find out one of these days.
Oh, I'm creeping up there. 8 points for Cade Good here in this ball game. 3 steals, and they've turned into 6 points on the other end. He's turned defense into offense tonight.
And if we don't break down after a long stretch on the defense and give up the 3 to Hunt, we're in a tie ball game right now, partner. So that's how quickly the Vikings can flip the switch if we'll just go out and guard like we did the last 2 possessions.
We'll see if they can do that. All of the momentum in the Vikings' favor there as Coach Mick Price uses the full timeout to kind of stem the tide, and Isaiah's going to stay in the ball game.
Former head coach Luke Parsons got Isaiah some Gatorade.
He might be cramping up now.
But great assist there.
Absolutely. As Miller takes the inbounds, Cart angling near side, up the near sideline, pinned the ball against his hip, no carry call. Back to Hunt, he'll shoot a 3, contested, no good, and high for the rebound, Brady Anderson.
And what a position the big man had that time, getting that rebound.
Here's Myers, back to Casto, top circle, 38-35, Vikings trail. 5:50 to go here in the ball game. Left-hand dribble from Isaiah, back to Johnson. He'll shoot a 3. Tie game. The big fella, his second.
We're all tied up, partner.
His second 3 of the season. As you said, tied at 38. First time since the first quarter the Vikings have been back into a tie with the Red Devils.
That 3 wasn't a thing of beauty, but it sure was when it went through the bottom of that net.
Hunt to Alfred, far corner. Sean Banks going to check in next dead ball. Alfred back to Miller, right wing, looking to drive on Luke. Kicks it in the corner, 3 from Bennett on the way, good.
You cannot let them set shoot.
41-38, good, trapped on the baseline, back to Luke. Luke reverses it to Isaiah, under 5 minutes to go. 41-38, your score.
Luke just looked at the sideline and called the play.
Luke's going to spin into the paint. Shot good, the big man.
And a foul. They were all over him underneath.
He has 18 as he's taken over here in the 4th. 1 point Ravenswood advantage. Here's Cart.
Got to get out and guard. I think if Virgil goes out there with his quicks and really puts some pressure on Bennett, he will give him fits.
Luke leading all scorers with 18. Here goes Cart to the basket. Contest, rolls around and in. And a foul is called.
And the difference between the Devil players this game and the Vikings off the dribble drive, they slide underneath of you and take the hit. We go up and contest for the block. We get called for the fouls. And it's given Ravenswood a 3-point advantage.
And that's 4 fouls on Brady Anderson as Cart makes the free throw, and it's back to a 4-point game. Dylan Casto will check in for the big fella. That's a big loss for the Vikings on the block. 4:22 to go in this ball game. Ravenswood answers the Viking run with a run of their own. Virgil with it, right wing, guarded by Cart. Down the block they go to Luke, off to Dylan. Back to Virgil, ball deflected, and a push in the back. No call. Ravenswood comes out of there with the steal. Quickly the other way, Banks off to Alfred. Alfred back to Cart. Cart penetrates, loses a handle. Luke with the steal. Isaiah with the good YMCA old man defense right there with the back tap. No call. Dylan Casto back to Isaiah. Down the block they go to Luke. Luke double team, spins baseline, shot up, bump, no call. Rebounded by Bennett. Come the Red Devils, Banks. And Coach Price out near midcourt getting the timeout call.
Well, the question the Viking coaching staff has, what is it going to take for an official who is standing right in front of Luke Johnson to call them coming up underneath him? And Coach Mullins is out there now trying to get an explanation, but you can't explain that one away. It's happened continuously as Jamison Hunt walks over. Now he's going to give a little instruction to the Vikings.
3:35 to go. 44-40. Red Devils lead it, and they have the basketball. This is a big possession, Jeff, for the Vikings defensively. They have to get a stop. They can't give up a 3 and fall down 7 points this late in the ball game. They got to get a stop, and they got to keep pounding the basketball down into Luke. If he keeps making strong moves like that, eventually they're going to call it.
Well, we talk about it, and we have talked about it all year. He gets penalized sometimes for being 6'11", and if he tries to drive through, they call a charge. If he goes away and tries to get away from contact, then they still come out and push. He doesn't get a call. So the young man is kind of in a dilemma there of knowing what to do. So just a tough situation and not getting any calls here tonight.
Ravenswood 5 team fouls, the Vikings 4, so neither team really in danger of being in the penalty just yet. As Miller will inbound it on the near sideline. He throws it into the backcourt to Sean Banks, who will bring it across the timeline and reset that offense. Cart will be double teamed top circle, guarded by Good. Picks up his dribble, back out to Alfred. Up and under, no good. Dylan Casto clears the rebound.
Whoa, man, a lot of contact there as Isaiah came up the floor.
Isaiah goes to Good in the far corner. Isaiah now penetrates to the elbow, hesitation move, baseline jumper, no good. Luke trying to get the rebound, and they're going to call a foul on Luke Johnson, trying to come over to get the rebound.
Wow.
That's his third. You talk about being penalized for your side.
Holy
right
cow. Alfred was rooting him out, coming up under as he went to the air.
Just because he's a foot taller than him, he's penalized by a call for the over the back. Very tough call on the big man. His third. Fouls racking up.
And this is the same official, Brian, that Coach Mullins has been on the whole game saying he's getting pushed out from underneath.
3 minutes remaining in the ball game. 44-40 Ravenswood. Miller, far corner. Guarded by Luke. He'll drive at baseline. Pulls up, has his shot blocked, but strong enough to finish, and it's a 6-point game.
Coach Price trying to get the N1.
Good with it. Now guarded by Bennett. Back to Isaiah. Back to Good. 2.5 minutes remaining in the ball game. Skip past to Virgil. Virgil puts it on the deck, penetrates off to Isaiah. He'll get to the paint, shot up and in.
Good screen off that time by Brady Anderson.
Back to a 4-point game. Here comes Alfred in the front court. 2:22 to go.
We've got to turn the heat up defensively.
Here comes Banks pressing the issue, and a foul's going to be called.
And they're going to call a touch foul
on Isaiah Casto with 2:17 to go. That'll be his third. 6 on the Vikings. Ravenswood shooting on the next one.
4-point game.
Here's Card off the inbounds. And a timeout by Coach Price off the inbounds.
Thanks, Mick.
That was fortunate for the Vikings. And that would have been another bucket for the Devils, as 32nd timeout used there by Ravenswood head coach Mick Price. 46-42. Boy, we got a good one going. Ravenswood again coming in against a much bigger team across the board and executing, getting the shots that they need, and playing good solid defense on the Vikings on the other end.
Which just shows you, if you got good guard play in high school basketball, which Ravenswood does, and what they have a couple really good ball handlers that can beat you off the bounce, and then they've got some kids that can spot up and knock those down. Well, that just opens up everything. Then their bigs, as far as Miller and whoever else they put in their ball, will extend our bigs out of the lane, which opens up those driving lanes. So, great game plan by Coach Price.
Isaiah with a silly foul, as he's going to be called for his fourth. He tries to get the back tap, and that's going to put Banks at the free throw line with 2:14 to go here in the ball game.
It was a silly foul, but it puts Banks at the line, who has struggled a little bit there, and it doesn't allow them to run off 30 or so seconds.
He's 1 of 3 from the line. 2 of 4 now. He has 13. He leads Ravenswood off the bench. 47-42 the score. A right-hander. Couple of dribbles on the way, in and out. Virgil rebounds it. Vikings got to get some points. 47-42. Clock turning, 2:08. Isaiah, strong take to the basket, fouled, can't get it to go. That one looked like it was in. And Isaiah's going to go to the line, and he is going to be forced to make some free throws.
Boy, if that goes and he can make a foul shot, that makes it a 2-point game. So, like to see a little more of that as this game winds down. 2:06 to go, Brian. Vikings getting a little more aggressive off the bounce.
Isaiah with 6 as he makes the first. Banks out of the ball game. Hunt in.
Goff and Ramsey in for the Vikings. Johnson and Anderson out. We're going to go with some pressure defense here.
Try to eliminate any fouls as well. As both Viking bigs in a lot of foul trouble with 2:06 to go. 47-43. This one would make it a one-possession game if Isaiah can connect. High arcing up and in. He has 7. 47-44, Vikings trail. Vikings trapping in the backcourt. Cart looking for somewhere to go with it. Back to Alfred. Goff guarding him. Alfred reversing it back to Cart. Cart penetrates into the paint. Out to Bennett. 3 on the way. And a charge is taken by Virgil Myers. Great play as Virgil sets up under the bucket to take that charge. That's going to be on. That's going to be on Cart. That's his third.
So Virgil stepping up. We got to push a little bit. Down 3, one-possession game. Let's see if we can get one here. Doesn't have to be a 3 this early.
Comes Casto with it. Right of the circle. Trying to get it to Luke. 3-point game. Good in the corner. Cart guarding him.
Can't let the ball stop.
Back to Johnson. Top circle. Casto. Down the block to Anderson. Double team. Reverses it to Virgil. 3 on the way. It's short. And it's going to be rebounded by Hunt. Ravenswood back into the front court. And Isaiah's just fouled out. As he picked up his 5th foul, he's coming out of the ball game. That'll bring Dylan Casto in. So 2nd game in a row, Isaiah has fouled out.
You know, the point guard duties will fall. Is that 5 or? He's staying in.
Well, hopefully I had that wrong. Free throw missed by Banks. Luke Johnson clears the rebound. It remains a one-possession game.
1-4 low by the Vikings, trying to set up a 3-point shot, and they throw it right away.
Stolen by Drew Hunt. He goes end to end, and he's going to be fouled. Now Isaiah has fouled out.
And Isaiah is arguing the call as the official was trailing. He couldn't have seen whether he fouled him or not. That's one of those deals, Brian, where you're in the area, the shot was missed, so you fouled him.
Yep. That'll put Hunt at the free throw line. So Virgil Myers checks back in as Isaiah has now fouled out. Hunt with 6 points, make it 7 as he makes the first, and that's a big one.
Coach Price wants another timeout as Hunt drains the first free throw.
Full timeout. Jeff, let's take 1-2. 1:01 remaining, 48-44. Ravenswood leads it. More Viking basketball after this on C98, The Bull. possession, they got to figure out a way to score and score quickly.
Yeah, I really like it better when we push in those situations, Brian, because it gets him scrambling on defense a little bit too. So, big foul shot here for Hunt. Still will be a 2-possession ball game regardless.
Drew Hunt's free throw up and in. Calmly knocks it down. He has 8 to go. Virgil with the basketball. You can hear Coach Mullins saying, you got to go. Got to pick it up. Good with it. 54 seconds. He's guarded by Banks. And a foul is going to be called on Banks, and that'll put a good free throw shooter at the line. I like that. Pressing the issue, forcing them to make a call, and you're going to put Cade Good at the free throw line.
Yeah, and we didn't need a 3, as we talked about. 49-44, 5-point game. If he can knock these 2 down, it makes it a 1-possession ball game. We'll probably take our chances if we can't get a quick steal to put one of the Ravenswood players, and I was going to say Sean Banks, and Coach Price, I think, knew also who the Vikings were looking at, and he puts Bennett back into the ball game.
Parker Boyd in the game for the Vikings for the defensive. His length, good free throw. Rolls it across the front of the rim, drops in. 49-45. This is a big one. 52.1 to go. This would make it a 1-possession game as he has 9. Short on that one. Joey Ramsey with the rebound. Back to Boyd for 3, and it's no good. Rebounded by Carson Goff. Back out to Virgil, and a timeout by Derek Mullins. Great effort by Carson Goff, the senior.
You put him in that situation, boy, if we could have got that 3 to fall. A lot to ask off of Boyd, just coming cold off the bench. Be in that position.
I love the aggressiveness, though, Jeff. He was shooting it.
You got to take it.
He does that, and he's a very good three-point shooter. He shot very well. He had 9 points last night off the bench against Williamstown. He shoots them all the time in the JV game. He's got to keep shooting. That kid's going to be a big contributor for this basketball team in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and we're going to need him. So as the graduations start to come quickly after next year.
That's exactly right. 49-45 your score, 44 seconds to go here in the ball game. The Vikings will have the basketball as they get both Luke Johnson and Brady Anderson back in the ball game. Dylan Casto back in there as well.
They'll inbound it on the sideline. It won't be underneath.
So you have Johnson, Dylan Casto, Virgil Myers, Brady Anderson, and Cade Good for the Vikings.
The Vikings are arguing, but if you remember, Goff got it and cleared it out front, and that's when they called the timeout.
How big are those missed free throws for the Vikings now? Good drives, and keep doing it as they call it the foul on Drew Hunt, his 4th. Cade Good back to the free throw line.
So all of a sudden, this official's made some key calls on dribble drives here late in the game, and the Ravenswood fans who haven't had that called against them all night long are a little upset over those last couple calls.
Well, somebody's always mad on the other end of the whistle. As Good to the free throw line. Back iron, no good. Big miss. Rebounded by Cart. 4-point game. Vikings have to foul, and they foul the wrong guy. Parker Boyd called for the foul, and Cart kind of gives him the what for.
Yeah, and you always notice that guys do that when they know they're not going to let them get into it.
Big free throws here for Matthew Cart and the Red Devils. 49-45 your score. Makes the first 5-point game. Wholesale substitutions once again.
5-point game, but not over. 32 seconds to go here in the final period. 2-possession game regardless of what happens here, and he knocks it down.
51-45, 32.4 to go. Vikings have to go and go quickly. Here's Good into the front court. Johnson, he'll shoot the 3 from the wing. That's off the mark. Brady clears the rebound. Back to Virgil. Virgil back to Brady. He'll shoot a 3 in the corner. That one's no good. Banks with the rebound. And that'll probably do it with 18.4 to go.
Yeah, we had a couple shots. Brady had a good look. That's not the shot that you would expect Brady to take, but in that situation, you don't have a choice, as the Vikings were trying to get this game down to 3 points by knocking down the 3. Just couldn't get it to go.
So Ravenswood's going to sweep the Vikings in the series for the first time in a decade. Banks misses the first. If he misses this one, you still have a faint breath of life here. It would remain a 2-possession game. Second one on the way. Got it. He has 14 tonight. 18.4 to go. Vikings need a miracle. Good. Up the near side. Banks guarding him. He'll shoot a contested 3. It's no good. Brady gets the rebound and lays it in with 11.2 to go.
52-47. Our score. And, boy, this is another tough one for the guys in blue and white, Brian. A game that they wanted to enact some revenge.
It's really struggling to find their footing offensively, Jeff, here in the last probably month of the season.
And, you know, Brian, I've been watching them in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and our offense hasn't changed much from the beginning of the year. And everybody's watched film on us. It's almost like in some sets, we come out and they anticipate where we're going. And we may want to put a little wrinkle in, especially before tournament time comes around.
52-47. Still a faint breath of hope here for the Vikings. Miller running the baseline, nowhere to go with it. Gets it into Alfred, and he's going to be fouled with 10.2 to go. That's going to be Golf. Alfred will be shooting 2. His first, team's 11th.
Ravenswood cheering section starting the chants up. 10 seconds to go in this ball game.
Well, let's not discount the fact that this is a really good Ravenswood basketball team.
Yeah, you don't win the number of games that they've won this year by just slipping by.
Now, you have to give them a great deal of credit for how they've taken the Vikings all the way to the bell here tonight.
And think about this. How good is Polka, who just woodshedded this team at the pit?
Deep 3 from Good. It's up and in. 3 seconds. 53-50. And they don't even have to inbound it. And that'll be the ball game. Vikings fall to the Red Devils, dropped to 9-11 on the season. Red Devils improved to 18-3 as they come over here to the Health Center and get the victory. We'll return with the WVU Medicine Jackson General Hospital post-game report after this, right here on C98, The Bull.